What does the term evergreen mean in business? You've probably heard that term thrown around, maybe in marketing or maybe in funnels, but what does it actually mean for your business? If you're just picturing old content that still works, there's actually a missing opportunity. In this episode, we're going to unpack what evergreen content really looks like when it works right, and how it can actually become the most valuable asset that your business has. Let's dive right in. Myth number one. Evergreen just means old content that's still live. The most common form of evergreen content that I've heard of is a pre-recorded webinar that's set up to be automated, and so it can keep going into the future. And so let's say you set it up today, but then 6 months later, it's still there, it's still running, and so people would call that evergreen. I created this to last. It's not just a one-time launch or a live webinar that I'm leading people up to, and I've got this launch campaign, but I'm creating it evergreen so that it can endure, it can last. Now, I would propose that that's not necessarily evergreen because you still have to bring people to it. So if you've got ads that you're running and driving people from those ads to that webinar, and then 6 months down the road, you're doing ads, the ads are what brings the viewer, and the ads are not evergreen. Right? So you've got a long-term asset. You've got this tool, this webinar, and that's great. And I'm not saying that's not valuable, but your system isn't evergreen. You continually have to do the advertising. So just because content is live or even something that's still working from 2 years ago, in my opinion, that misses the whole opportunity of what's really possible with evergreen. Myth number two is that evergreen equals set it and forget it. So I would say that's actually the ideal. Maybe not to forget it, but if you can set something up, like imagine the previous scenario where you had this pre-recorded webinar and you didn't have to keep doing ads. You could just let it run on its own. That's the ideal. You want to monitor it. You want to continue to track how many leads it's coming in to see if it truly still is evergreen. But I would say that's the version of evergreen that you should be hoping for. Myth number three, evergreen systems lose the human touch. Well, I actually feel this way about automated webinars. Maybe something's out of date, or how often do you update that webinar? And how do you have an evergreen system that's bringing in people in an evergreen way? So there's definitely a right way and a wrong way of doing it. I mean, maybe your method of evergreen is you're hiring somebody else to run your ads for you, but I love evergreen systems that actually build a relationship. And the problem is if you have a webinar or any type of promo video and you're paying for ads to drive people to it, it's interruptive marketing, you're annoying them, right? And you're bringing those people in that annoyed state to your webinar or to your promo video. There's no relationship that's built there. And in the webinar or the promo video, you've got to work really hard to overcome that. So a big part of your webinar is just overcome the fact that you've totally annoyed them or interrupted them. You have to overcome the fact that they don't know who you are, that there's no trust. So you have to work really hard to build trust before you can even get into the heart of what you do and what your offer is. So what if you could create a different type of content that was truly evergreen, that lasted for years and years and years, and worked as a marketing tool? It could bring in people who've never heard of you before and not annoy them. In fact, they don't feel like they're being sold to, and it builds this relationship of trust. And imagine that this magic video then directed people to your webinar or to your promo video. That's actually what me and my clients have been doing for over a decade. It works really, really well. So I look at evergreen as being a predictable lead flow. When you create this evergreen lead generation relationship building content, you have consistent lead flow that comes into your business every single week, every single month. And in this first stage, because you're not selling, it's not going to annoy people, or because people don't feel like they're being sold to, but they're getting their question answered, and they're getting it right when they need it. So it's timely, right? Even if you filmed this video 5 years ago, but if they're having that problem now and they find your video and it's helping them, it's the perfect time for them. They don't care when the video was recorded if it really helps them. Now, the other part of evergreen that can be really helpful is just preparing people before they have that call with you, that strategy session. Or let's say you do have a webinar. Are there things that would be helpful for them to know before they begin that webinar? You can have this relationship builder video, and then on your webinar registration page, you can have a video that really introduces them to the concept, that paints the picture of the value of the webinar, and it will better qualify the people that attend the webinar and make sure that in the webinar you don't even have to cover that stuff. Or when you have a form that people can fill out to schedule a call with you, Maybe there's a video on that page, or maybe you require people to attend the webinar first before they can schedule a call with you. So you can set up systems to make sure that your evergreen funnel here works really, really well at qualifying people, preparing people, obviously building a relationship, so the people that you're having conversations with are the most valuable. What's the key difference between an evergreen funnel and a one-time launch? Well, for one, I've never been successful with a one-time launch. Now, there are many people that are very successful with launches, and I'm excited about them, and I've tried to do them. You've got to put a lot of thought and energy and creativity and stress and time into mapping this out and to executing on it, leading up to this moment when you launch, and hopefully you get great results. I never have. I've never been successful with that like other people have. And if you've got somebody that knows how to do that, I'm not forbidding you from exploring that. All I know is from my experience, it's way more predictable. Maybe with a launch, some people can do it and some people can't. But with the strategy that I'm teaching of using evergreen lead generation content, it's predictable, it works for everybody. You don't have the pressure. You can build momentum over time. The work that I did to build my evergreen content 2 years ago is still working today. So today I can create more and they just add on top of each other. How do I know if my audience is ready for an evergreen offer? Well, I think that there's not an offer in the evergreen portion of the content. So an evergreen funnel would be content that people are searching for that doesn't promote. And then once there's a relationship there, you can give them an invitation to go watch your promo content. And so people will judge themselves whether they're ready or not to take that next step. But you can guarantee that people are ready for this first step because you're searching and you're finding out what is their challenge. What are they typing into ChatGPT or to YouTube search? And so you're only creating this step one type content, answering questions that you know your target audience is asking. So here's a real problem that most business owners have is they think that they're marketing when actually they're nurturing. Okay, and there's a big difference between marketing and nurturing. Both are very important. You need to nurture, but if you're nurturing and you think you're marketing, it's going to shoot you in the foot. So a lot of these businesses will start posting all this content, but it doesn't do anything in their business. It just nurtures their current friends and their current subscribers. So they stay top of mind, but their business isn't growing. So I want to show you what true marketing looks like, and I'll show you in this video right here. It's called Why Your Marketing Isn't Working. I highly recommend that that's the video you watch next.